this is the perfect getaway car. Let me show you why. This SUV does a 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 5.5 seconds. Quick even by sports car standards. And making for an excellent getaway car is the fact that there's no screaming engine, no tire squealing, no tire smoke, nothing, just a quick, silent getaway. Okay, but now on to some serious business. Yes, as you've probably guessed, this is the Audi e-tron, and I'm sure you got that from the green EV plates here and perhaps this shuttered out grille. Now, of course, remember, having said that, there is a few little open slots in here for cooling the battery and the chargers, and I'm sure you've also noticed these cool LED matrix headlights. If you were, however, to move over to the side, you'll see that this is actually the Sportback. That's Audi's terminology for four-door coupes. Now, this one sits lower than the regular e-tron, and there's a lower coefficient of drag too. It's 0.25, whereas the regular e-tron is 0.27. Though, don't expect any difference in performance or range figures. The value is too small to make a difference on such a large SUV. Now, what does this coupe roofline do to the rear? As you can see out here, yes, you have a sharply tapered windscreen, and where you had a spoiler atop on the regular car, you have it now integrated into the boot. And in case you're wondering what it does to the boot space, let's just have a look inside. Yes, as you can see, the boot is a little smaller. It's 616 liters versus 660 for the regular car. But having said that, it's still pretty large. We've got all of our camera gear packed in here, and there's a lot of space left over. If you were on an airport run, it should manage your large suitcases and bags quite easily. So what do you think of the Sportback styling? Let us know in the comments, and in case you haven't already, do subscribe to the Autocar India channel. Now, of course, expectedly, headroom at the rear is down compared to the regular car, but having said that, with the e-tron having a lot of headroom to begin with, the Sportback isn't all that bad. In fact, I'm 5'8", and as you can see here, I have a fairly decent amount of headroom still available above me. So it should be fine for most people. Then of course, legroom is ample. The driving seat is adjusted to my position, and as you can see, there's ample amount of space here. I can tuck my legs in underneath there, and the rear seats, they're quite comfy too. The windows outside, yeah, they are a bit smaller, but they don't really leave you feeling hemmed in. They do offer you a fairly nice, expansive view outside. You also get 4-zone climate control with a touch panel at the rear and Type-C USB charging ports. So here in the front, things are pretty much identical to the regular car. So both the Sportback and the regular e-tron have the same incredibly well-built dashboard. Everything here smacks of quality and really looks upmarket. You have the twin screen MMI setup here. You've got this nice palm rest to toggle the gear, or should I say drive selector, and the steering wheel feels nice and meaty to hold. So all in all, it's a really nice place to be in. The only criticism would be that the touch surfaces for the climate control are not really safe and easy to operate, and I wish Audi used the same physical buttons like in the e-tron GT. Now getting to the driving bit. Audi market the e-tron in India with the regular SUV available in the 50 and 55 power trim, whereas the Sportback is available in only the more powerful 55 power output. Both 55 trim cars have a claimed maximum range of 480 kilometers, and we got a healthy 366 overall figure in our testing. As for charging, on 11 kilowatt AC charger, it took 8 hours to go from 10 to 100%, and the company says a 150 kilowatt DC fast charger
can top up 80% of the battery in 30 minutes.
So behind the wheel, the Sportback feels exactly like the regular e-tron, and that's a very, very good thing indeed. If you've seen our detailed review of the e-tron 55, you'll know that we were very impressed with the way it drives. And well, the Sportback is equally impressive. Power delivery is really, really strong. You just put your foot down like this and you just get shot forward like out of a cannon, typically electric fashion, where you have instant torque. Of course, it feels very linear, but the way it comes in is highly, highly addictive. Of course, the other good thing also about the Sportback is it handles really well, just like the regular e-tron again. The center of gravity is really low thanks to the batteries placed lower down, and the car has a very sweet handling setup.
Audi make really good use of the two motors, and while the rear is the one that's mostly in play, the front comes in nice and smoothly. And being electric, torque vectoring to each wheel is really quick and precise, leaving you with ample grip through corners. The steering isn't quite as much fun, but the weight and effort are just spot on.
Also similar in the drive experience is the drive modes. You have 6 plus 1 configurable one in the regular car, and you also have that here on the Sportback. So you also have the off-road mode,
which, apart from tweaks to the power, delivery and braking, also lifts the car on its air springs, and this is obviously quite handy when venturing off the beaten path. Another good bit about the off-road mode or the adjustable ride height is that you can easily tackle some pretty challenging speed breakers. And as you'd expect, the air springs really deliver a super comfortable ride, and they only get harsh towards the end of the suspension travel when you encounter sharp edges at high speeds.
Braking is also something that really impressed us with the e-tron, and on the Sportback, of course, it's pretty much the same, which is really good, because what's really impressive is the way the e-tron blends the motor braking along with the mechanical brakes. Now, there's something really interesting on EVs is that when you hit the brake pedal like this and slow down, it actually uses the motors as generators, which basically causes the car to slow down. And it's only on stronger braking like this when the mechanical brakes come into play. On a lot of other EVs and hybrids too that use a similar setup, you can feel the point where the mechanical brakes come in, and they tend to feel a little grabby. Here though, on the e-tron, braking is just one smooth affair. You hit it like this, you've got your motor braking, and then when the mechanical brakes come in too, it's just all smooth and a nice simple controlled stop. All in all then, the Sportback is pretty impressive and just as enjoyable as the regular e-tron. And as you've seen with that sloping coupe-like roofline, you really don't lose out on too much. Plus, with 3 cars, Audi have effectively straddled the competition. The range begins with the e-tron in the 50 trim, which is the car you'd probably get if you just wanted an everyday no-nonsense EV. It's priced at 1 crore and therefore effectively undercuts both the Merc and the Jag. Now, if you wanted to inject some more fun into your drive, well, you can opt for the 55 trim. That comes in at about 1.16 crore. So it is a bit more expensive, but yes, it's the one you'd reach for if you wanted to have fun behind the wheel. And then of course you have this one, which comes in at 1.18 crore, and it's the one you reach for if, like us, you felt the regular e-tron lacked a little bit of style and didn't shout its EV credentials enough. So reach for the Sportback and it will help you stand out some more. There. Okay, again, if you were on an airport run, it would easily swallow in all of your big suitcases, and we have to close and run inside the car. Your camera is gone, huh? No, leave it. Continuity.